Brother Matt in last week's service mentioned 2 points. One thing that he talked about was that door in the ark, how big it was and how massive and what it would took to get in. Well, I thought about that all day Sunday and all that night and even had a dream about it. And in that dream, I walked up to that door and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed to the point of exhaustion. And I fell down. And when I fell down, I looked up and I seen a sign. And that sign said, pull. Anyways, the other point he made in that thing was to talk about Job, the life and the trials that Job had. So I sent him a text later that day, and I said, you know, Brother Matt, I know a little bit, I think, about the life of Job. I've read the Bible 42 times, and I'm on my 43rd time. I also feel like I've experienced just a little bit of that in the last 7 or 8 years. I was saved when I was 12 years old, 1968. I had lived prior to 2016 what you might call just a milquetoast testimony, kind of plain. I never did drugs. I never did drink. I never smoked cigarettes, anything like that. I was basically just about a perfect little fella. In 2016, I was diagnosed with cancer. Pretty rough. Heart surgery. A year later, my dad's diagnosed with cancer. Pretty rough. 13 months. My dad dies. Just 12 days before my dad dies, my house burns down. A year later, I'm sick again. 6 months. Lost 40 pounds. Another hard, difficult surgery. Recovered from that. 6 months after that, my youngest brother gets diagnosed with cancer. Heart disease, has a heart attack. 6 months after that, I preached my brother's funeral. Another year passes. I'm sick again. This time it was relatively quick. I was only sick for 5 weeks. 3 trips to the emergency room. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Admitted me to the hospital on December the 3rd. Finally, they figured it out. And they tell me that I'm going to have surgery. And the thing about it is, they let me lay there for 5 days without eating or drinking before they could get to the surgery. That's the part that kind of makes me a little bit upset about the deal. But I had surgery on December the 19th. A laparoscopic surgery, and when I woke up from that, I said, oh good, I'll get out of here 5 days earlier. But 2 days later, they had to do the surgery again because the first surgery wasn't a success. So this time, they split me from one end to the other, and pretty rough. So finally, I'm laying there in that bed. I got 3 ports in my arms, heart monitors everywhere, drain tubes on my side, colonoscopy bag on my right side, tube down my throat, can't move. And it's December the 26th. The reason I remember that is it's my mother's birthday. And I said, about 2:30 in the morning, I said, can you guys just put me to sleep? I have had enough. There comes a point when just plain enough, as far as I'm concerned, is enough. And she said, Mr. Ball, I can't do that. I said, if I was a dog laying on somebody's porch, feeling like I feel, somebody would do something. And she said, well, we just can't do that, Mr. Ball. But I will tell you this, from that moment, the healing process of my body started. I've always heard that God can never use nobody until they've first been broken or first been crushed. And I'm not saying that I am that way, but I'm just saying there comes a point when it does turn around. Let me see if I can get my next next page, please. Finally, I did get out of the hospital on June 3rd. But you know, when I was laying there, I'm telling them, just give me something to put me to sleep. Give me something to put me to sleep. I've had it. My wife's on the phone begging me to stay. Begging me to stay. And I say this to say that. I told her many times since then, you better be careful what you ask for. You know, I've never asked God the why questions. This is just the road I have. I've always said it before. If I were to ask him and he did answer me, I probably still wouldn't understand. But I've always said this also. The same God that loved me when I went in, before I got sick, is the same God that loved me after I got sick. His love has never faltered, and His love has never failed. It's just, this is the road I've been given, and I guess it's probably maybe just to stay here, and I don't know what, you know, I look at the crowd here, and I know people have gone through hardships, not maybe the same road I've got, but I know there's not, everybody in here had a hardship at some point. And I've always said this too. If you live long enough, brother or sister, it's bound to happen to you. But the song I'm going to sing is entitled Be Thou My Vision. I'll just read the last line of this, the last two lines of this song, and you'll hear it as I sing it. It's heart of my own heart, whatever befall, you will still be my vision, and you're the ruler of all.
Amen.